Hello everyone and welcome back to another Tower of Fantasy guys. In today's videos we will take a look into how to play support and let's take a look at it. So the first one come to your weapons. For your comms as a support you got to choose Zero, Coco, Nemesis, Shiro, the Esasa Pepper, and then there's new unit in like 22, 23 something of December. You get Lyra. So if you don't have Lyra, you don't have anyone else, but you need to play support with your team. And this team, you can play this team. Shiro, Zero, and Coco. This is the first team. So in this team, you get Shatter, you get 2 healing, and then you get the damage buff. The only downside from this team is the healing you produce is not much. If your teammate takes the damage continuous, the Coco stuff, the absolute zero cannot heal them all the time. Not like Nemesis that can dash and heal always using only dash gauge, but Coco needs skill and ult. You have the first star shift for the healing, but that one have the 25 cooldown. Same as the zero skill that you get the cooldown timer to 30 seconds in the third star. In this star you get the skill reduced to 30 seconds. So in this team you get most of the thing that support need. The shatterings, damage buff and healing. So in this one is pretty balanced for the player who play for support roles. So in this team you get to use all the not limited character, and it's not that cheap to get, but you can get from the gold banner, not the limited one. So if you don't have 3 weapons, you can switch off each of them. You can either play it like this. So you don't have Shiro, you don't have Coco, you can go Pepper and go Piling. The SR bowl, the physical one. So you open gacha or you open every banner or any banner, you get them to 6 star. I don't upgrade her, so nah, it's 6 star already. Yeah. But if you do play the support and you don't have any SSR weapons, you only have Zero, or you only have someone else here, like you only have Shiro, you only have Coco, you can either go the SR bow and the SR staff. They are no different, but the uptime buff of the Gravius is not that high. You can apply buff by dodging, but if you dash too much, your dash gate will be consumed and you don't have any chance to dodge at all. So apply Gravius. This one have Gravius as a physical weapon, healing and then damage buff. Yeah, this is another comp that you can go with. Another comp will involve Nemesis and Pepper or Coco. So your Coco or the Pepper can produce much more healing when the skill or the ult uptime much more than Nemesis. But when you don't have any skill, you can go dashing with Nemesis, and then you got another support comp. You got damage buff and 2 healing. So for the next one, if you do push on Nemesis banner and you get Coco, you can go this comp. As you guys know, Coco heal much more than Pepper cause of the stat and some skill that can produce the damage buff. Yeah, this one increase shatter and damage there for teammate within the range of the sanctuary. So in this team you got the same as The last team, you got 2 healing and 1 damage buff. You got no shatter. Oh, you can go. Let's see if I can. Now, if you don't have Nemesis, you only have Shiro. You don't have Coco, so you go to Pepper. This one is can also work. This one will also the same with the first team that we talk about the Coco stuff. You can go with Pepper. So this team you got Shatter, you got damage buff, and you got healing. To the next team. So we don't have Lyra yet. But if we do have her, let's assume that this one is Lyra. So you have Lyra, you have Shiro, and you have Zero. In this team, the Resonant will be 80k, but you can play as a support. But for Lyra, if you don't have the Benediction Resonance, some of her skill that considered as support might not working properly. So in this team as a support, you don't produce that much DPS anyway, so you don't need to mind that. You have Lyra, you have Shiro for shield break, and you have Zero for healing and damage. But if you want the Benediction buff from Lyra, you can either get Nemesis in or Coco. This one also work because of the Resonance, the Benediction. We don't know yet that Lyra comes, her skill or her kills might change. So let's assume that it is the CN version. So you have Lyra, Coco, and Zero. In this one, you need only one limited character, the Lyra. And you have Zero and you have Coco. Lyra can generate shield and heal, so her 0 star can work properly. You don't have to get her to 3, 5, 6 star or 1. You don't have it to get any of them. Just 0 star Lyra work pretty fine for the support comp. You don't have Coco, you can go with Pepper. It doesn't matter. It's the same. You get healing, 1 damage buff, and Lyra that can produce some DPS and some healing. So yeah, that's some support team that I come up with. You can also, if you don't have Lyra, you have Lin. You can also put Lin, and you have Coco or Pepper. You can go with this combo. Get some off-field DPS with Lin, and then 2 healing, weapon, and damage buff. Lin for the circle thing give the 80k buff that can increase your healing. Because you don't have any elemental resonance, so Lin go into the 15 80k buff. So this are some support team that I come up with. You can switch to any of the weapon you have. So you don't have Zero, you can go with Shiro, you can go with Nemesis, you can go with Biling, you can go with Pepper. Yep, something like that. Because support role in terms of the game itself is pretty easy to play. You don't have to consider any damage you dealt. You only heal teammates and buff them, making them work for you. So support is one of the role that is easy to play, same as tank. But tank is you have to dodge, so support is much more easier. You can put either of the support weapon in and call it support team. Just consider something like Benediction first, other than the DPS, Resonant, because in 2.2 I think that's the new game mode, the Warrior Part 1 and the Bygone 4-player that require the team play. Like you need the tank, you need ATK, the attack, the DPS, and you need healer or the Benediction. You need 4 of them to work properly in the Void Rift and the Bygone. Because if you don't have them, some of the buff you might not get from them. And your DPS will be working much harder on that. So for the trade that you can go either
I knew you
Samir
would pick me.
or Coco.
Looking for me?
You can get 2 of this one, but if you don't have 2, you can go either anyone you want, because it really doesn't matter for support. Maybe I can go for
I
Nemesis
am listening.
if I remember the correctly. Nah. Yeah, you can go for either for Nemesis. Yeah. So you can go
I knew you
Samir,
would pick me.
Coco, Nemesis,
listening.
or either Simrucum that you have. Let's give you the attack boost or damage boost. You don't need to go in this
I am listening.
I knew you
particular
would pick me.
traits. You can go the one you want, cause the weapons already working. We don't need that trait. Or you can either go Lyra traits. So for the gears, you can. The gears is the same as DPS. You need crit and the element ATK, like the world ATK, frost ATK, something like that. Because in this game, healing can do crits. So this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something from this guide.